Once upon a time, in a small town, lived a happily married couple, Adama and Bakari. Adama was a kind and generous woman, just like her husband, Bakari. She had come from a poor family and had toiled hard with her husband to acquire all their properties. Sadly, her mother had passed on when she was in the hospital, giving birth to their firstborn child. Her mother did not even get to see their first grandchild. Adama had supported her husband, raised the capital for their first business, which picked up very well, growing to a multi-million business. With good tidings, Bakari became a wealthy man, and he became a pillar of generosity in their community, always ready to lend a helping hand to his parents, brothers, and their families. Bakari's kindness knew no bounds. He had helped his brothers, Olu and Tunde, start off their businesses, giving them the financial support they needed to stand on their own. Despite Bakari's unwavering support, Olu and Tunde squandered the money on their frivolous ventures and lived beyond their means. Yet, Bakari never gave up on them, believing in the potential he saw in his family. Adama and Bakari's life together was blessed with two beautiful children, whom they ensured attended the best schools in the region. The children's education was a priority for Bakari, who believed that knowledge was the key to a better future. Adama supported her husband in all his endeavors, and their home was a sanctuary of love and laughter. However, behind the scenes, Bakari's family harbored resentment towards Adama. They pretended to like her, smiling to her face, but their words were poison behind closed doors. They saw her as an outsider who had taken Bakari away from them, even as they reaped the benefit of his generosity. They also felt that she was the one preventing her husband from giving them more money, as they felt Bakari was wasting it on the expensive schools for his children and living large. They felt jealous of the business Bakari had set up for his wife, Adama, and wished that it belonged to them. Tragedy struck one fateful day when Bakari fell ill and passed away suddenly. Adama's world crumbled, and in her time of grief, she faced the harsh reality of her in-laws' true feelings. Instead of offering support, they turned against her. Following an old cruel tradition, they forcefully shaved her head, stripping her of her dignity. She was required to sleep in the same bed with her dead husband for 2 nights, and on the third day, she was to drink the water that was used to clean his dead body. Being a Christian, she tried contesting, and she was blamed for the death of her husband. Adama had no choice but to appear. After all, she had no one to fight for her. Adama did all that the customs of the land demanded. She was forced to provide Bakari's bank details for his brothers to get money for his burial. 2 weeks after the mourning period, Adama wanted to leave the village and head back to the city to take back her children to school. Bakari's mother stood up and told her that she was no longer going back to the city. She was told that she would stay in the village and be inherited by one of Bakari's brothers. After all, she had not given birth to a male child. Hence, she wasn't purely her son's wife. This came as a blow to Adama. How could her in-laws be this wicked? On Tunde's wife hearing that her husband would inherit Adama as his second wife, she was very angry, and she started shouting and insulting Adama, saying that it would have been better if she would also die. Adama was devastated, and she started planning on what her next steps should be. On the day that she was to be inherited by Bakari's elder brother, Tunde, she sneaked out with her 2 daughters in the middle of the night as Bakari's family slept. She headed back to the city to their home. However, shock awaited her, as on reaching there, her gateman refused to open the gate for them. He had been instructed by Tunde and Olu not to open the gate, especially for her. Adama reached out to her close friend to accommodate them, but unfortunately, her friend was out of town. Despite the long journey, Adama and her daughters were left to sleep outside the gate. As if things were not bad enough, they were robbed of their luggage in the night. They tried screaming for help from the watchman, but he did not open as he was afraid of getting sacked. When morning came, Olu came out of the building. Adama and her daughters were shocked of the wickedness of what they had gone through. Tunde also got to his late brother's house in the city after they had woken up in the village and realized that Adama and her daughters had run away. He let out an evil laugh after finding Adama outside the gate in a terrible condition. They gave her the choice of either accepting to be inherited or leaving and never coming back. Adama tried to remind them of how kind their brother had been to them and had helped them on several occasions. The two brothers laughed and told her that Bakari was a selfish man who never really helped them, that he gave them small money that could not even help them. When Adama refused to be inherited by Tunde, they chased her and their nieces away without anything. Adama tried going to her boutique shop, a business that Bakari had set up for her, but found that her assistant had been fired and a new person had been brought. Adama wished that Bakari had not let in his brothers into all his secrets and their assets. There is nothing that they didn't know of its whereabouts. Now, they used this information to take over everything from her. Adama was left destitute, with her children to care for and no place to call home. Her in-laws had now taken over their family house and Bakari's businesses, as well as her own business. Believing they had finally rid of themselves of her, they thought Adama would crumble, that she would be unable to survive without their support, and would come back begging them to take her back. After all, she had no money to fight them over her husband's properties. But they underestimated her strength and resilience. Despite Adama losing most of her friends, she had one friend that stuck with her through thick and thin, and that was Lillian. Lillian housed her for some time and helped her get a house to live in with her daughters. She also helped raise some money for Adama to start off her business. Adama started buying clothes and revamping them, then selling them. With her experience managing a boutique business, it was easy for her to grow the business. Adama had known all her clients' preferences, and she saved all the profits and put them back to the business. Her daughters continued studying and did very well in their new school. She was lucky that her daughters understood her situation and never once complained. Adama continued to make more sales, creating more designs. By now, she would buy African jewelry and have it sewn in the clothes, which made them very beautiful and unique. Word of Adama's beautiful creation spread quickly. People admired her resilience and the quality of her work. Her business grew, and soon she was able to send her daughters back to their prestigious schools. People watched in awe as Adama, the woman who had been cast aside, rebuilt her life from nothing. One day, as she was setting up her boutique, a wealthy merchant named Eze approached her. He had heard of her unique business and offered her a partnership to supply his chain of stores abroad with her goods. This opportunity transformed Adama's business, bringing her wealth and stability beyond her wildest dreams. She became more wealthy than she and Bakari ever were. Meanwhile, Olu and Tunde mismanaged Bakari's businesses, running them into the ground. The businesses collapsed, and they were left with nothing but regret. Their once lavish lifestyle was reduced to poverty, and they began to understand the gravity of their actions. They both went back to the village after languishing in poverty in the city. They had slept hungry for days and slept on the streets as the banks had repossessed the houses. Every suffering that Adama had gone through, they experienced it in double portion. One day, Adama and her daughters visited Bakari's village, but not to his home, rather, a friend's traditional wedding. She pulled up in a big car, and everyone who knew her was surprised. News went round very fast and got to Bakari's family's ears. They decided to go and see for themselves. When they saw Adama, their jaws dropped. How could the poor woman of yesterday be this wealthy? She sprayed dollars on the bride and groom. After the wedding ceremony, Bakari's family came before Adama and knelt down. They started weeping and asking for forgiveness. They recounted what had happened to all of them and said that it was their punishment from Bakari for mistreating his family. His father, who loved his granddaughters and loved Adama as a daughter, had fallen ill when he heard that they had sent her away. He had been the only one fighting for her, but he faced mistreatment from his wife, children, and their wives for standing up for Adama. Adama went back to Bakari's home, and when Bakari's father saw them, he wept tears of joy. She could not bring herself to forgive the rest of the family, but due to her father's in-laws' kindness, she took him abroad for treatment. She let Bakari's family to suffer for some time for all they had done to her, but with a heart full of compassion, Adama provided them with enough money to get back on their feet. But she made it clear that they had to work hard and learn from their mistakes. Humbled and remorseful, Olu and Tunde accepted her terms and began to rebuild their lives with a newfound respect for Adama. In time, Adama's children grew up to be successful and compassionate individuals, inspired by their mother's strength and resilience. They excelled in their studies and went on to make significant contributions to their community, continuing the legacy of generosity and kindness that their father had begun. Adama's story became a legend in the village, a tale of triumph over adversity and the power of forgiveness. She had not only survived the cruelty of her in-laws, but had thrived, turning her pain into a source of strength. Her legacy was one of hope, showing that no matter the hardship, one could rise above and create a life of dignity and success. If you were Adama, would you have forgiven them? And would you have supported them? Let me know on the comment section. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to support our channel, like, comment, and share. Bye.